Hey, welcome back to the Pach-Attack. Last time you saw me, I was in my home office dressed slightly more casually than I am today. We're back working hard. I'm traveling today, going to Vegas, so I get to dress semi-casually, but I actually have to work tonight, hence the collared shirt. But welcome back to the Pach-Attack. From the forum, we have a question from CD Diesel. Dear Mr. Pachter, will the old Elder Scrolls Online be financially successful? More importantly, will the Elder Scrolls Online be able to build up an installed base long-term to rival World of Warcraft's current installed base, 7.8 million subscribers, by the most recent figures from Blizzard? Thank you for your time. Your answer will determine if I buy the game. You know, I don't know the business model for Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not sure if it's subscription. I probably should look this up. It is for sure?
Yep.
Oh, darn. Look. Then the answer is, Elder Scrolls Online is one of the more compelling pieces of content out there. I think that if any game can succeed on a subscription basis, that game is positioned to succeed as well as any in history. The problem, I think, is that the subscription market is a shrinking market because the people that formerly subscribed to things like World of Warcraft have too many free-to-play options. There's too many other games that are really good that are offered free-to-play. Arguably, they're not as good as these. So I think that, you know, the guys who play, and I know it's not a RPG, but the guys who play League of Legends love that game because it's free. You know, they play it hour after hour after hour. There are tons of free-to-play MMOs, as you know. So your alternatives at a much lower price are so great that it's hard for me to believe that the addressable market for subscription is more than 15 million people or so. And so yes, I think Elder Scrolls will take share. I think Elder Scrolls has the opportunity to be as big as World of Warcraft now, but that share has to come from somebody. And I don't think that you're going to just suddenly create an incremental 7 or 8 million people who want to pay a subscription when there are so many free-to-play options. Blizzard has announced that their next MMO is going to be free-to-play. So it's not going to be a subscription because I don't think they believe in the long-term health of that model. But if any game can challenge World of Warcraft, it's Elder Scrolls. And I think Elder Scrolls being new and made by a studio that is of comparable talent, you know, and puts out comparable quality games to what Blizzard puts out, I think that, you know, a 10-year-old game is going to have trouble competing with a brand new game from an equally talented studio. So I think, yes, Elder Scrolls Online will do well. Financially successful, sure. I think that if it doesn't work as a subscription, I think they could go free to play and they could sell the game for 40 or 50 bucks and then make the game free to play. They would still sell 10 or 15 million copies of the game because people will buy it because they love it. And if it's free to play, they probably sell 25 or 30 million copies of the game and then come up with virtual item sales. And my guess is it would be in the $300 to $500 million revenue run rate annually anyway, and they'd make a ton of money. So they always have the right or the ability to switch to free to play if they need to. I think it will succeed. It's good content from good guys who make great games. A question from the forum. From Conquer777. Remember Conquer's Bad Fur Day? God, that was a fun game. Mr. Pachter, with Unreal's recent demo showing off Firefox being able to play a game without plugins, could this rejuvenate the web as a gaming platform? God, as if I know what any of that shit means. I mean, I do, but I don't care. Can you see more high-quality content created for web games? Sure. It could eliminate troubleshooting to only the browser itself, I hope, as many modern PC games have to accommodate to multiple hardware. Okay, you know, I think I could probably define all these terms. Like, I know what Firefox is, I know what a demo is, I know what a plugin is, and I know what a game is, but I don't freaking get how any of that shit works together, so I don't know the answer to that question. Like, whatever. You know, I don't think I ever thought about games having plugins. I mean, I guess they do, but I never thought about it, nor do I care.
Just means like browser-based games?
No, I know, but I don't care. Like, it's like, you know, okay, look, let me give you guys insight into my soul. When I go to the sink at my house, I turn on the cold water and cold water comes out, then I turn that off and I turn on the hot water and hot water comes out. That's amazing to me. And it's like, I kind of know where it all comes from, but I can't really figure out how it gets to my house, and it's clean and you can drink it and the hot water's hot. And I mean, I know where all the pipes are and all that, but how do they actually make that happen? That's pretty freaking amazing. Okay, that's kind of that I know. When I put my cup of coffee in the microwave and I turn it on, I have no freaking clue how that works. Yes, I know microwaves heat the liquid. How? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't understand it. It gets the molecules moving. Don't want to know. There's some things in life that I'd rather not know. So when I play a game, I don't know what plugins I have. I don't really care. I don't even know what browser I'm using. I mean, I use Google Chrome. I don't know why. Why do I use Google Chrome? Because Internet Explorer didn't work one day and someone goes, use Chrome. I've never used Firefox because I don't give a shit. And maybe that's better than Chrome. Okay. When Chrome stops working, I'll switch. It's like, I don't care. This is like asking me how the Metacrawler finds search results when I use Google. I don't care. I use Google and I get results. I don't care. It's like, I love this one. It's like Fire TV is going to solve that problem we all have with Netflix buffering for 2 to 8 seconds. Until they said it, I never noticed that Netflix actually buffered. I never noticed how long. I knew it happened. So I went home that day, turned on a House of Cards. I put up an episode of House of Cards, and I timed it 2.1 seconds. That's how long it buffered. Never noticed it before. Until Spotify came along, I didn't realize Rhapsody took 3 seconds between songs. Did you guys know that? Don't know why. I do. I mean, I can explain to you nominally what happens, but I'm not really sure why it takes 3 seconds. I can tell you how Spotify doesn't, but I don't really understand the logic behind it or why anybody cares. Okay, so the answer to this is, I don't care. I don't know the answer, so let me answer it the best I can. Sure, if you're right, we can eliminate troubleshooting to only the browser itself, I hope, then yes, more high quality content for web-based games. Look, I think all this stuff is extraneous crap. What really matters is that games are going to be developed mobile first, probably web-based games. You're probably going to see much faster processors, much greater capability in mobile phones and tablets, and that's where you're going to see the quality enhancements. I don't think anybody, and I mean ultimately you're going to see faster broader bandwidth, faster speeds, and you're going to see everything played in the cloud. That was the promise of OnLive. Who cares if it's browser-based or cloud-based? I mean, ultimately you have nothing happening on your device. That's where it's all headed, and in between, sure, Firefox, Unreal, no plugin, rejuvenation. I don't know. I hope so. So you're ask a tech geek, that would not be me. Okay, I'm the guy who doesn't know where hot water comes from. And for those of you people who are going to post on the forum now, please don't tell me where hot water comes from. I don't want you to ruin my surprise. I mean, someday I'm going to figure it out, but I don't want to know in between now and then, okay? All right, fellow babies, thanks for joining us on this week's Pach-Attack. If you have any questions, please direct them to the link below. And if you have a question for Twitter, you can submit them directly to me at Michael Pachter on Twitter and include the hashtag AskPach. Thanks for joining us. Well, and the one on Firefox plugins and that, it wasn't dumb. I just have no freaking clue how that works, nor do I understand why anybody thinks I do.
Yeah.
Don't care. I'm not the right guy. That's like asking me, is it easier to develop a game in one form of code versus another? Like,
well, I mean, like, oh, actually, don't stop the close. We got to shoot more stuff. We got to do the closes.
Okay.
But it's like, is there a business in browser-based games? You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't matter. There's a business in desktop-based games, and it doesn't really matter to the consumer how it's delivered. Right. I mean, if it's client, it's a problem because it's such a huge download. So like League of Legends, right, takes 38 gigs or some shit. I don't know.
Really?
It's some humongous file, and it takes like hours to download. But once you have it, you play it and you love it. It's just I'm probably wrong, but if you run this as a clip, somebody will go, no, it's only 3.8 gigs more. But it's big. It's a big file, you know. And I think it really was something like that though. But you know, when you think about, have you played League of Legends? I mean, you look at it, it's a pretty impressive game. I mean, it's pretty and there's a lot going on, and I get, you know. Oh no, I think it's actually. You don't think graphics are good? I think graphics are really good.
Like the characters are so small.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot going on. They're tracking a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. But it's a big client game. You've got to do something, and it's easier just to start up and play. The game, boom, happen. So Candy Crush is a lot easier to play because the app takes like a second to download and it happens and you're playing, and it's browser based, and and the cool thing about browser based for that is I have the same Candy Crush on my phone, my tablet, and my desktop at home and at work. So no matter where I am, it knows what level because it's all stored up in the cloud. That's the future. So browser based with cloud memory, that's cool, and that's where we all want to be. And honestly, if you were Activision, you would rather Call of Duty be that way. Because if Call of Duty was that way, A, it couldn't be ripped off, and B, there would be no console royalty because you wouldn't play on the console. You play with a controller on your TV just like you do now, but it'd be coming through your PC. They would much rather have you play Call of Duty that way. So you, the consumer, would go, okay, I paid the same $60 for Call of Duty, but it all went to Activision, and I don't have to pay for Xbox Live. So theoretically, no fee, but if there is any, it goes to Activision. But Activision would rather just sell you a $60 game and keep all of it than pay GameStop or Microsoft or whatever. So that's going to happen. I don't know how I just lost my chair. I don't know how to do this now. It's been so many years since, there we go. So I mean, browser-based is the answer. This is why On Live was so exciting, because essentially it was, no equipment required.
Just not there yet.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, technically, it wasn't browser-based. It was cloud-based. But remember back to me, hot water, cold water. I don't care. Browser-based, cloud-based. What I really want is a dumb terminal, and I want the game to come in on my dumb terminal. And when you put your Xbox, on and you attach it to your TV's a dumb terminal. There's no brain working in the TV. It's just receiving whatever signal comes in. TV doesn't care if the signal comes from the internet or from an Xbox. It shouldn't matter at all. So ultimately, that's where games are going, and we'll get there. The problem with multiplayer is, bandwidth going back and forth. So if you and I are playing Call of Duty and we're 2,500 miles away, it's like without all the rendering on your PC and or on your console and on mine, without all that happening all at once, when you see me and I see you, if it's all in the cloud, meaning one server in between us, the signal has to go to you, you act on it, back to the server, to me, I act on it, back to the server. And if you do the math on speed of light, crossing the country, it's like, I have done the math and I forgot, but it's like 30 milliseconds or 50 milliseconds, so it's a piece of a tenth of a second. It's just enough to be annoying. And when all that stuff's happening on your box, what we're seeing is delayed, but I'm acting, you're acting, it's not. It's rendering real time there. So when the signal comes in, it moves faster. That's the only reason that we have games that way. But they'll move to the cloud when they can figure it out.
Cool.
Anyway, don't know how long that'll take. So we're doing more?